Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to JCTV Africa, where we are just receiving breaking news that has happened in Zimbabwe right now. And this is just a quick update to all our viewers and listeners. As you can see on the headline, it's saying that in conversation with Senator Douglas Mwonzora, we are not able to talk to him, but we're having one of his admin here who can narrate to us what has happened. He has apparently been attacked whilst he was at a funeral in Glenview 7, at a funeral of the Triple C MP who passed away, Mr. Grandmore Hakata. And I'm here with Mr. Lloyd Damba here, who is speaking on behalf of the senator, just to narrate to us what has happened. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, my brother. My name is Lloyd Damba, and I am the Director of Communications in the Office of the President of the MDC, as well as his spokesperson.
All right. Okay. That's great.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to make to make that part clear. So when I speak with authority, and I'm speaking from a position of it being very official and not a lie.
All right. Okay. Can you take us through?
Thank you, my brother.
Can you take us through what really happened? What happened? I understand there was a funeral. Tell us what is happening.
Yes, Senator Mwonzora went to a funeral in Glenview, as you have just rightly said, because I think we worked with the Honorable Gradman Hakata very well in Parliament, although the party split and they decided to follow Nelson Chamisa. But he remained a client of Senator Douglas Mwonzora. As you know, that Senator Douglas Mwonzora is a practicing lawyer.
Okay.
And also, Senator Douglas Mwonzora is also a lawyer for the entire Hakata family.
Okay.
So being that as it may, they called him today so that they can sort out his estate.
All right.
Of the late Hakata.
Mm.
So when he went there, by the time that he arrived, the youth began, the youth of the Triple C, wearing their party regalia, started to mobilize and booing him. By the time that he was about to leave the residence, they then started to attack him. But one of the bodyguards also stood in their way and they stabbed him with a screwdriver. The other one was severely injured by, I think I sent you a video. They fought in the car and then they broke the windscreen. But then we managed to leave the place. It is very regrettable because I think as a democratic country, as a society that is trying to run away from ZANU-PF violence, this is continuously happened in the movement for democratic change. Soon after Morgan Tsvangirai died, we witnessed the same scenario when they tried also to burn him alive in a hut in Umanikwa, where there was also Thokozani Kupe in the house. There were also many party officials at that house. And so this is not the first time they've attacked Douglas Mwonzora or they have tried to kill him. It's very sad that in our country we have got an opposition that has moved into ZANU-PF tactics of using terror and coercion. It's very sad.
Okay, you are saying these people, as you are saying that these are from Triple C, which was more aligned to Nelson Chamisa. Now we understand what is happening now with now the Triple C that belongs to Sengezo Chabangu and the one that is belonging to Professor Oshumi. What was there when they were doing this? Because obviously when somebody is attacking people, they'll be chanting some slogans or there's some verbal exchange. What was the verbal exchange and what was the main reason for them to do that?
You are a sellout. You are stopping us from doing from our agendas. This is exactly what was said at Morgan Tsvangirai's funeral. What they said at Morgan Tsvangirai's funeral is the same thing that they said also today. So it is the same modus operandi. It is just the same. You are stopping us from our agenda. You are a detractor. You are a sellout. As if Douglas Mwonzora signed an affidavit or an agreement with Nelson Chamisa or anybody that he should be a puppet of Nelson Chamisa or he should follow Nelson Chamisa against the dictates of the constitution of the MDC, which stipulates that even in the event that the president of the party dies, there must be an extraordinary Congress held to replace that deceased president. That was our fight with Nelson. It's nothing else. So unfortunately, some other people try to privatize the party. They tried to circumvent the will of the people and the will of the constitution. And then they went and formed a similar political party with no constitution, with no structure. This is the reason why it is now split into 6s and 7s. because they did not play by the rules of the club. And they are blaming us now for their further problems in their political party. It is very sad.
Okay. We understand that you are and the party you are pushing for the for this issue that is being raised inside ZANU-PF quarters, that they want to amend the constitution. And obviously, there could be people that are linked to Sengezo Chabangu who are part of that group. Do you think they have anything to do with this, or do you think that, do you smell anything from ZANU-PF trying to influence that attack?
My brother, to me, Triple C is one and the same. Triple C of any shade of any kind, they all use yellow. So you cannot differentiate between which Triple C it is. But we have made a very bold stance that you cannot mutilate the constitution just to appease one man who wants to form an empire that is called Mutapa. He wants to revive the Mutapa empire. So we are standing in his way. And in that, you know very much that Emmerson Mnangagwa is a very transactional person. So we know that a lot of transactions are happening behind the scenes. It is not the first time. I just want you to check the silence of Nelson Chamisa on this. I want you to check the silence of Oshman Nube on this. I want you to check the silence of all senior Triple C leaders on this, which means something is happening behind the scenes. So the bold stance and decision that we've taken, that we are going to go against this term mantra or term extension in any form and any kind, it is wrong, and we're going to maintain that stance. But it is also wrong to persecute us violently, simply because we are disagreeing on a constitutional stance, on a political decision.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now that this is what is happening, what is the state of Senator Mwonzora now? What you said that he has been attacked. Has you notified the police, and what are the police saying about this incident? Have you, what measures have you taken, and also brief us on what the family has said after this attack?
We have not yet contacted the family to see what is happening at the moment or how they feel, but I think we will do that later. We want to allow them the space to mourn their deceased ones. We do not want to look and sound selfish. They are in the middle of mourning, so let's talk to them after this issue is over. But then his state, I think, is resting, is okay. But two of our youth are in hospital because, as I said, the other one was stabbed with a screwdriver. What kind of a person or a youth goes to a funeral with a screwdriver? It's so dastardly. It is so bad. And you know, the bad thing about it, it happened when Nelson Chamisa himself was there. He never restrained these people. He never restrained his supporters. So it's very sad. And also what we have done is we have reported the matter to the police, and the police is now handling it.
Okay. What would you want to say maybe to the police, not to the leaders of Triple C? We know it is led by Professor Oshman Nube, and the one that is led by Senator Jameson Timber. What is your message to them as we conclude this conversation?
My message is not only to the leaders of Triple C. My message is to the people of Zimbabwe. We, the people of Zimbabwe, are allowed to disagree on fundamental issues, constitutional issues, economic issues, political issues. But that does not call for political violence or the killing or murdering of one another simply because we have differed. We are trying to transform Zimbabwe from the state that it was when Robert Mugabe was still the president. So let's not apply violence when we argue. That is the reason why we had introduced rational disputation in this country. And it was misunderstood. I understand you, we have disagreed to, we have agreed to disagree, but let's do this in a humane manner. Let us not kill each other or beat each other simply because we have disagreed politically. That is my message to the people of Zimbabwe. That is my message to the leadership. And the leadership, directly to them, I want to say, they must learn to restrain their supporters. They must preach peace. They must preach love. They must simply preach their policies and principles. That is the reason why they just need to be voted like that. Not for them to preach hate. We don't need that. Zimbabwe suffered a lot under the colonial regime. It was colonized by violence. We took it by violence, and we cannot continue on that path of violence. I thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Damba, for that update on what is happening. We'll obviously still be in touch with you to inform us further of the youths that are in hospital and hear their progress. And please pass the message to Senator Douglas Mwonzora. And what is your way forward about this constitution? What is your campaign strategy in order to stop the issue of the constitution? What are you taking? What measures are you taking in order to make sure that this constitutional amendment is not going to be tampered with? What are your steps that you want to take?
What we are going to do as a party is to do a lot of advocacy to educate the people of Zimbabwe about what the Constitution of the Republic says and what is their right. And they have a right to say no. Because when you wrote the Constitution, it was after Robert Mugabe himself had extended his rule for 38 years. And the people of Zimbabwe must understand that Emerson Mnangagwa would like to do the same. And this country is our heritage. It is our country together. So we are going to take that message to the people of Zimbabwe. That is number one. Number two, we are going to litigate. We are going to approach the courts, no matter how dirty, no matter how compromised they are, but it is worth a try. Number three, we are going to lobby the region, the SADC region, no matter how compromised they are, no matter how compromised they are not. That we are going to leave it to them. We are going to approach the African Union and the international community, that is the United Nations, to make sure that this constitutional amendment does not pass. It failed in Zambia, it must also fail here in Zimbabwe. When Chiluba tried to amend the constitution for himself, it failed, and we want to make it fail in this country.
All right, but there is a deep conversation that is going on, which is in the quarters of ZANU-PF, that you can see what is happening in the US. They are trying to change the constitution so that they can allow Trump to run for the third term, which is something that has never been done in the US, that the president can run for the third term. What they are saying, that is democracy. A constitution is can be amended. What is your thoughts on that?
The problem with ZANU-PF is that when things are in their favor, especially coming from the West, they support it. If it's not in their favor, they accuse the MDC of bringing sanctions to Zimbabwe. They accuse the opposition of being Western-sponsored puppets. But now tell me, who is now supporting the Western agenda? It is ZANU-PF. We have always been telling you that ZANU-PF has no ill will against the West. It is simply because they have been disallowed to go and shop in the West. That's the only thing that they miss. But when it comes to policies and principles, they are all aligned. They are aligned to China. They are aligned to the West. We are aligned to the people of Zimbabwe because the problems that we are facing of hunger, poverty, disease, they are affecting the people of Zimbabwe. This third term issue, this constitutional amendment is not important. It is not a priority. It is not a priority. So our stance on that one is, if they want to support American things, let them go and support American things. And we Zimbabweans want to support the constitution that we wrote ourselves after Robert Mugabe prolonged his stay in power.
As we, sorry, I keep on bring you back. There is a comment from Clayton Kanyumba who is saying that you want people to preach love when your team betrayed. We are in this predicament because of people like Mwonzora and Chabangu. Surely the devil is coming to say God is good. Where has that happened? This is from Clayton Kanyumba. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, let me answer Clayton directly on that issue. He must know that when you are a member of a club, you must subscribe to the club. Nobody is bigger than the club. This is the reason why we've got constitutions, because it is because of the distrust of politicians. We wrote our own constitution here in Chitungwiza in Zimbabwe. And in that constitution, we agreed that when the president passes away or when he dies, there must be an extraordinary Congress that must be held to replace that president. And Nelson Chamisa did not do it. That is our fight with him. It has nothing to do with love or personal attachment. It has nothing to do with that. It has got everything that Nelson Chamisa did not follow the constitution. And you must know that Nelson Chamisa himself recalled Tokozani Kupe from parliament. He recalled Dokas Banda from parliament. He recalled quite a lot of people in parliament in March of 2018. And you must also know that these recalls were not done by an individual. They were done by a body called the National Council of the Movement for Democratic Change, which recalled some of those MPs who had signed affidavits that they are no longer members of the MDC. And the Constitution of the Republic, which you are defending today, also stated that it still states that if you don't support the party that sponsored you into parliament, you are going to be recalled. So these people were adults. Unfortunately, the people of Zimbabwe went to school, but they learned nothing. Like my brother there, it's very unfortunate that he's trying to silence intelligent people so that stupid people can rule this country. I'm sorry for him. He must learn to read the Constitution. And you must also know that Morgan Tsvangirai recorded in IBT and 21 other MPs and several councillors when they resigned from the from the MDC and formed their so-called renewal, and then they went to PDP. So this thing is not just attached to Douglas Mwonzora as a person. It is the party that recalls. And it is your actions that make you being recalled. So my brother must learn to grow up. He must not try to silence intelligent people. No, he must not do that. We cannot be bullied anymore.
All right. But one would say, you remember in April 2021, there was the constitutional amendment when the party MDC had recalled members, thereby awaiting the by-elections, and they passed a bill that allowed the extension of Justice Luke Malaba's years in office. And those constitutional amendments, they happened during the time. One would say that you are being disingenuous. You allowed the confusion in order for the constitutional amendment to be done. What is your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are very simple, my brother. If you look at that constitutional amendment number 2,
yes,
the term of office of proportional representation members of parliament, women MPs, was coming to an end. And also there was an introduction of proportional representation councillors in local authorities and provincial governments. And the Malaba issue, we discussed it because they attached it as a hidden agenda. But we fought against that, and because of our numbers, we were few. Remember, in 2018, we had few MPs. We had very few MPs. ZANU-PF could simply have gone through that amendment without even consulting us. But we voted with our conscience that we want to introduce women parliamentarians in provincial councils, in local authorities, and also to make sure that women in parliament, 60 of them, must remain in that parliament. Because right now, as we are speaking, we would not have women in parliament. So it is a different scenario altogether. And the Malaba issue was not put before a referendum, or because it is not provided for in the Constitution. So in this case, the presidential term limit is supposed to be taken to a referendum. So these are two different cases. And this constitutional amendment that we are talking about, it is actually talking about a name, President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Whereas the Chief Justice stem was never talking about an individual. It was left in abeyance for any Chief Justice to come. There's a difference.
All right. Mr. Lloyd Dwamba, thank you so much for coming through, and hopefully we are going to be in touch with you to find out more about this issue and the assault.
Thank you, my brother.
Douglas Mwonzora. That was Mr. Lloyd Dwamba, the spokesperson of the MDC, speaking to us via WhatsApp in Harare, talking to us about the attack that has happened to Senator Douglas Mwonzora. As I said, you are welcome to give us your voice note, and so that you can tell us what you think, and I'm going to play those voice notes so that people can hear what is going on. So the voice note number 1, please let me hear. There is Alpha here. What is he saying here? Let's hear.
Magadi mkoma. Ina angu maonero angu pa nauya murikuti yaitika ku Glenview. Chinhu chinonzi ZANU-PF yakangwara singaiti, especially pa nauye infiltration. ZANU-PF inoisa vanhu vayo vainotumira kuti vakonzerese nyonga. Vanhu voona sekuti vanhu ve-CCC. Ndo zvainongoita kazhinji. Saka mukuona zvinhu zvakadaro zvichiitika hazvishamisi. Chinhu chinozongoitika ndechekuti vanhu vanoda kuti kuzonzi mapato anopikisa anoita mhirizhonga. Vanhu vachamisa vane mhirizhonga. Vanhu vachamisa vana mhirizhonga. Asi kuti ZANU-PF inodzvara vanhu vayo. Zvinhu zvinongoonekwa. Zvangofanira zvangoita nhau yaChabangu. Chabangu haizi threat ku ZANU-PF. chabangu i-threat ku opposition
Yeah.
ndo nawo iri kuitika.
Yeah.
Saka vanhu tofanira kuti tinzwisise zvinhu zvakaita seizvozvo, especially nhau ye-infiltration. Vanhu veZANU-PF vanodzvara vanhu vavo pese pese panenge pavungana vanhu veopposition. Vanhu vavo, vanhu veZANU-PF ivavo vanokwanisa chero kutopfeka zvipfeko zveopposition nekutoita maslogan, asi vanenge vane chinangwa chavo vagobudirira.
All right, that was Clayton. You can still continue to send us your voice note. We're in conversation with Mr. Lloyd Damba, the spokesperson for MDC, and we're going to be having more conversations with some people that are in the opposition to see what is going on, especially with the constitutional amendment that we are about to face, whereby people are saying there is going to be a referendum. And according to the legal experts that know about the constitution, they are saying that this constitutional amendment, first they have to amend the constitution to allow the president to extend his term of office, and then there is going to be another constitutional amendment, referendum again, whereby they allow the current president to benefit from that. So there's going to be two constitutional amendments that is going to happen, one maybe this year and another one next year. So we're going to be talking, and just to enunciate conscientize our viewers and citizens on what is this and how they can stop it, and how can they get to know what are the ins and outs and who is benefiting and how they can stop that. You have heard him from that. But thank you so much to everyone that have sent us your voice note. We have to end this broadcast, but thank you so much, and hopefully we are going to have another conversation very soon. I really appreciate. Let me just read your comments before I close. I see Gladys Muganir here saying that this guy forgetting how they took over Harvest House with the help of ZANU-PF in Mwonzora, was given a farm by ZANU-PF to destroy MDC. Can he be silenced? Clayton Kanyumba again saying that you are making noise now because you are bankrupt since Chimuchaka like Chaka to like-minded Washmen. Manta Dube saying confused party. Manta, okay. Same. Ashford is saying where does Chamisa fit in? Anyway, that is your comments that you've been giving us. But that is the conversation that we have been having. Senator Douglas Mwonzora attacked. Mr. Damba said they sent me a video. I'm still awaiting for that. I'll probably upload it on our channel of what is transpired. But 2 people have been injured. They have been hospitalized. The matter has been reported to the police, and hopefully we're going to hear more soon on that matter. That being said, I'll see you on the next video, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will see you on the next one.